I want to show you something. Here's the County Administration Center. You know it, you see it all the time, built on a beautiful spot along San Diego Bay.
It's certainly the most iconic government building we have in this region.
But what most people don't know is that when it was built in the 1930s, the best view wasn't out over the water. No, it was the other way, toward the east. The bay was sort of a mess.
Kind of silted in. I mean, you look at some of the photographs and some of the paintings that were done about the time this building was opened. I mean, you can see it was kind of just a hodgepodge of industrial and commercial, and fishing fleet was based there, but that was kind of a smelly operation at that time.
Hard to imagine now, but the bay was cluttered. There was raw sewage going into the harbor. No, if you were drawing up a building here, you wanted it to look the other way. Please. Well, back then there was a city planner, a famous architect and visionary named John Nolan, who came up with an idea. He thought, yes, there should be a grand complex on the San Diego waterfront to house both county and city government, but that would be just the start. Look east, he said. Imagine a public corridor going right up what is today Cedar Street.
You know, the east facing of the County Administration Center was going to be looking up a grand esplanade that would go all the way up to Balboa Park.
The Nolan Plan, it was called. As early as 1908, he was advising the city and county, producing drawings showing what San Diego's center of government administration might look like right at the entrance portal to San Diego, but it never happened. And then, 18 years later,
1926, he comes up with a new plan, which frankly includes a lot of the things that we take for granted here today. It included an 11-mile harbor drive that basically hugged the coastline going around. It kind of envisioned where Lindbergh Field is.
And it pictured that corridor east from the county center, you understand, lined with great buildings devoted to public administration and the arts, extending toward the park from the bay. But if you look east from the county building today, you can see John Nolan's vision again never happened. Instead, the Depression came and World War II.
And then after that, the post-war baby boom, and so people were more focused on, building up the suburbs and building homes that people could move into.
In fact, what is today the County Administration Center might never have been built at all if it weren't for a WPA grant. President Roosevelt came to dedicate the building in 1938, but John Nolan had died a year earlier with only part of his plan ever realized. Today, an Interstate 5 off-ramp dumps onto Cedar Street, forever ending the chance of a straight-through corridor to the park. But the once cluttered and ugly bay ended up being really beautiful. And Supervisor Greg Cox says there are other positive developments that he thinks would have pleased Mr. Nolan.
I think the waterfront park would make him very happy because it's a gathering point for the public. That's what he was all about creating, I think, a sense of place.
With this place, the County Administration Center at the head of it all. So, it may have been imagined with his view to the east in mind. For 80 years, like John Nolan himself, it has remained something iconic and historic about San Diego. Hi guys, we've got a lot more interesting things to see. Would you like to know when they're available? All you have to do is click on the subscribe button, and then you will know when there are more stories ready to go about San Diego.